Yo, it was your reigning, defending, undisputed wrestling VTuber World Champion Dojang Vaughn, and we are live over here on Twitch, so feel free to go ahead and join us in the comments, or not the comments, the link down below. But quite frankly, we just got through another episode of our weekly community wrestling series, WKW, and I did want to go ahead and cover a question that a lot of people have been asking recently, and that is, what is some things you would love to have in that of 2K25? And quite frankly, I could think of a number of things I would love to have changed, added, fixed, and whatnot in the next year's game. And you know what, I'm going to be a little bit different because I know there's some popular answers that you might hear. I'm going to try to steer away from them. Hey, if you like wrestling, hold on, there we go. If you like wrestling content, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and join your boy. Nevertheless, let's get into it. Now, quite frankly, one thing I would love if we could have in the next year's game, and I will say this, a lot of my criticisms may come from the perspective of someone that utilizes the universe mode, because again, I've been doing my own wrestling community series for the past couple of years, World Kingdom Wrestling, and quite frankly, I know I probably might use that of universe mode more than your average player, so stick with me here. One thing I would love to have changed is the ability to have feuds between more than just 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. I would love if I could have a triple threat feud, kind of like how we started to have earlier this year with CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. Maybe even a fatal 4-way feud, or if I'm building up to an elimination chamber or a ladder match, who knows, maybe even a 6-man, 6-way type of feud. And while we're on the topic of having feuds be touched up on, I would love if I could have some intergender stuff. So, say for example, I don't think I could have, say, Alexa Bliss and AJ Styles feud with Nikki Cross and, I don't know, Damian Priest. Can't do that. Can't have Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio feud with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. So that is another thing I would like to be able to do. And on top of that, one more thing I want to go ahead and touch over on when it comes to that of the rivalry setup. And that is, quite frankly, I would love if I could go on ahead. Not only would I love to have intergender feuds or feuds of more than just 1-on-1, 2-on-2, say even handicap feuds, triple threat, 4-way, 5-way, 6-way feuds. But I would also love, I'll be real, I kind of forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, in general, I'd love to be able to go ahead and tinker with this here, and have a lot more freedom, a lot more options. But you know what? I will say there was another thing I wanted to touch up on when it came to rivalries, is I would love if I could go on ahead and have a lot more flexibility when it comes to that of rivalry actions. Say, for example, if I wanted to go ahead and take somebody out up until like a certain pay-per-view, I would love, to put it bluntly, if I could go on ahead and have true control over everything. If I can go ahead and say, hey, I want my call, my creative wrestler, or my wrestler, whomever, maybe not even a creative wrestler, say if I wanted to go ahead and have Drew McIntyre attack CM Punk on this show, and then CM Punk doesn't get cleared or isn't capable of being booked until the following pay-per-view or a couple pay-per-views down the line. Or if I wanted to go ahead and have stuff being capable of being set up over here, give it a second, on the calendar, and say, instead of editing shows and whatnot, I wish I can go ahead, like the old stories you can create back in 2K14, yes, something along the lines of that, but merged into universe mode. So I can legitimately have, and that's another thing too, promos. Quite frankly, I know it is tiring dealing with a bunch of promos on your, well, I'll be real, Raw and SmackDown have been a lot better when it comes to dealing with promos. But quite frankly, I know back in the day it used to be tiring, but at the same time, hey, you can't really have a wrestling show without any promos or segments. I would love to be able to have the ability to have segments added into the show. Say, for example, I wanted to have Joe Hendry going back to the rivals, if I want to have Joe or Henry take out one of these two, Matt or Jasper, which shout out to those two members of the community here. But I would love to be able to have, okay, add in this segment. Make a match or make a segment. Okay, you selected make a segment. Which type of segment you want? A promo? You can have this wrestler go ahead and big themselves up. Kind of like how you can do in GM mode, except for it will give you a decent cutscene or so. Maybe even if you want, you can have it be automatically made, automatically generated, some sort of text dialogue, or you can have it be your own custom made dialogue or so. That's something like that. To that effect would be pretty cool to have in 2K25. But on top of that, if I want to have a backstage segment and not quite have it be a proper backstage brawl, say I wanted to go ahead and, going back to that, inserting a segment, hit a segment. Okay, what type of segment you want to have? Backstage. You want to have it be a backstage brawl, which you can set up as is in universe mode nowadays, or you can have it be backstage. Somebody's talking to someone, or someone's cutting a promo on someone, because they have that area in the game, in the backstage brawl area. There's a section where you could see that whole ordeal where you can go ahead and cut a promo backstage. I would love if we could actually utilize that. And on the topic, and also before I start switching topics, one more thing as well with that is, hey, maybe I want to go ahead and I have the screen cut on, and you can see, oh, someone got jumped backstage by a mystery assailant, or somebody got jumped backstage by this person, or backstage, cut onto it, there's a scuffle, something like that. Worse is that they have access to do that from WWE 2K16. Yeah, doesn't surprise me to hear. It sadly doesn't surprise me to hear. But not only that, you can't tell me it wouldn't be cool if we can go ahead and have customizable backstage areas. I don't want to go ahead and for every single time that I go looking for a new arena, or for some sort of crazy wild arena that takes place outside of a match, I have to hunt it down online. And even then, they're kind of limited. I would love to be able to find some crazy shit like this, the inside of a home, or the grocery store, or literally anywhere, boiler room again, without it being, let's be real, requiring mods in the game. I would love to be able to do that naturally. So say, for example, if I wanted to go ahead and recreate the NXT parking lot or NXT backstage area, hey, I can, and I don't have to use mods for it. Or if I want to go ahead and just make my own custom backstage area, I can go ahead and do so. If I wanted to go ahead and make the backstage area from, I believe, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain or so, I believe that's one of the first games that had a backstage brawl area. I could be wrong, correct me in the comments below. But if I wanted to make that backstage area specifically, then I would be able to. Giving more creativity to the players seems like a really, really great idea. But I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. But you know what is really crazy is if I were to go ahead and create a universe mode, and then after the fact I create a wrestler, or I edit a wrestler, or anything of that sort. Unlike where you can go ahead and naturally save something. Say if I modify my character's attire, or modify my character's fit, modify something integral, I have the option of saving it to the universe save slot. However, and 2K has at the very least slightly edited this, slightly tweaked this to make it a little bit better. Unless you go ahead and edit your creator wrestler, or edit your whomever, unless you go ahead into the actual universe mode itself, and say, for example, if I wanted to go ahead and change up Alexa Bliss's entrance, and maybe I want to have her coming out to the ring, kind of like how she used to before the whole Fiend storyline, I can go ahead and edit her. I could change her entrance, I could change her exit, and it will be fine. Unless I edited her outside of the universe mode, then in which case the game will not even give you the prompt to go ahead and save it to the universe mode save slot into outside the universe mode save slot. That also carries into making tag teams and factions. That you actually know it's worse, because quite frankly, it doesn't matter whether or not you make a tag team or a faction inside or outside of universe mode. From the last time I've heard, any updates on 2K, they did not fix this. You quite frankly would have to recreate a tag team. So say for example, I want to go ahead and make a custom tag team, like if I were to modify the bloodline. If I were to go ahead and remove Solo and add back in Jay, and make a secondary bloodline with Solo and a Tangaloa creator wrestler, I would have to go ahead and do those edits outside of universe mode. Or vice versa. If I do that outside of create universe mode, I'd have to go back into universe mode and manually edit stuff in it, which is very, very annoying, very, very daunting, very, very time consuming, and it's worse if you're making a full-blown new tag team from the ground up. Again, say for example, if I went to go ahead and make A-Town Down Under, I would have to manually create them in or outside of universe mode, and then do the process again, vice versa. So that is very annoying, having to deal with that. You know what, I'll be real, I've realized a lot of my issues with 2K and stuff I want to see be changed for next year is kind of around universe mode. So you know what, I guess that's gonna be the title. So hey, and one more thing I would love to be able to do is, say for example, if I wanted to go ahead, start up a universe mode, hit new, rate new, I would love to be able to have superstar mode, classic mode, except for, again, make it even more sandboxy. Make it so I can, if I wanted to, you can make this its own separate mode or so. So you can have the superstar mode, classic mode, true sandbox, where I can go ahead and edit everything down to the most minute details. And this might be asking for a lot, but say for example, have this promo, have this wrestler, cutting a promo on this wrestler, maybe their tag team partner gets beat down backstage midway through their promo. Kind of like what I've said a lot through this video in general, in its own separate mode if you want. And you can split this, what I'm about to say here, into a fourth mode, or into the same true sandbox mode. Re-enable a lot of what you have been able to do for create a story back in 2K14. One of the things I loved to do when I first got into professional wrestling, when I got my first wrestling game that was truly my own, 2K14. Didn't borrow it from my karate classes, didn't borrow it from my parents, straight up my game, 2K14. I was able to go ahead whenever I was at home and make whatever wrestling stories I wanted with whatever wrestlers, with whatever storyline. I would love to be able to do that. And while there's other things I would love to go ahead and ask 2K to do, there's some things I know that is quite limited. Like say for example, if I wanted to have custom theme songs, which again, as somebody that does a wrestling community series utilizing universe mode, I'm not editing it out, but utilizing universe mode, it would be a lot easier, a lot cooler if I could just have everybody's theme song pre-installed, or not pre-installed, but capable of adding it to the game. But at the same time, I don't know 2K or PlayStation, excuse me, allows that. Same for Xbox. I'm aware that some people that use the PC version of 2K might be able to mod it in. I don't know, but I would love to be able to do that on the PlayStation version. But at the same time, that might be a little bit above what they're capable of doing. In general, there's a lot of things I would love to be able to have be changed, have fixed in next year's WWE 2K25. I know, yeah, one more thing, and this is going outside the universe mode, but can we please have updated entrances? At the very least for like the first 3 months of the game's lifespan. If somebody goes ahead and has a new theme song come out, can we update it in? Or like with The Rock, we have... This might be me asking for way too much. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments down below. What is your thoughts? What will you change in 2K25? Something that you would love to see. Some changes that they could do for universe mode. And yeah, see ya.